As we brace ourselves for this weekend, we want you to know how to stay safe if you plan to be outside. Let's get out to Fox 12's Drew Marine, who spoke with a local urgent care room doctor about what symptoms to keep an eye out for, Drew, when it's time to seek help, too. Something really important to keep in mind if you're going to be out in the sun this weekend.
Yeah, very important. If you can avoid being outside at all this weekend, she says you should. But if you have to be in the heat, she says it's important to know if someone becomes confused and lethargic because of the heat, it's time to go to the hospital. If you're going to be out during this historic heat wave, Dr. Ann Toledo with Kaiser Permanente says there are some things you should avoid to keep yourself safe.
I'm both the chief of urgent care and the party pooper in chief this weekend, because the way you avoid it is by not doing all the fun weekend summer things you'd want to do.
She says no dehydrating drinks.
Things like alcohol and caffeine, extremely dehydrating. So maybe following up an iced coffee in the morning with a bunch of White Claw, bad idea this weekend.
And you should really limit your time in the sun.
If there is somewhere with shade, plenty of hydration nearby, I would minimize your exposure outside to an hour or less if you are going to go outside and just can't resist.
If you can't resist, Toledo says it's important to know the signs of heat exhaustion and heat stroke.
Heat illness is a spectrum from mild symptoms like heat cramps, feeling a little dehydrated and irritable, having a headache, all the way up through getting nauseous, extremely tired. Those are signs that you're reaching heat exhaustion, right? Where your body is saying, whoa, pump the brakes. You can't keep being in heat like this. You're very sick.
And Toledo says it's also critical to know when it's time to seek help.
When your body temperature reaches, 102, 103, 104, and then especially 104 and higher, and a person is confused, seems out of it, unusually lethargic, that is a very dangerous sign that there's an emergency that needs immediate treatment. Once someone has reached that point, that's a sign that the heat is basically toxic to the body and someone's at risk of organ failure.
So she says taking breaks in the shade or AC and staying hydrated are going to be key this weekend.
You make sure that you get fluids that have some salt and sugar in them ideally. So, maybe alternate plain water with something like a sports beverage or broth so that you're not accidentally throwing off your balance of salt and sugar in your body.
If you have mild symptoms, she suggests putting ice packs on your neck or taking a cold shower. And if you're unsure how severe your symptoms are, Toledo says you can always call your local hospital system and ask them for advice. Live in Southeast Portland, Drew Marine, Fox 12 Oregon.